share a little bit about your background, your history, where you grew up at and stuff.
I grew up in the South Bay.
Yeah.
South Bay boy. Yeah, we grew up in the South Bay in South San Diego, and just there's always, growing up in the South Bay, you have a couple different ways you can go. You're either gonna join a gang, or I don't know, deal drugs, or because we live in that little pocket where it's kind of all mixed in there, and so a few of us chose the entertainment industry, and so
That's cool.
so we were able to be blessed to kind of go down that route, and I've been able to do some cool stuff with some awesome people, and my background is I grew up with the boys from a band called POD.
Yeah.
And I was able to work with them early on before they were signed and while they were signed, and they're still some of my best friends, and they have a record coming out tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So
right,
download the new album, Circles.
My niece Priscilla Martinez is a big fan of POD.
Yeah, if you're from San Diego, especially from South San Diego, you got to be a fan. Like it's like you're rooting for the boys from your own backyard,
yeah.
And so it's and they're 26 years in the game, so you kind of gotta root for them. So
yeah,
but that's my background is in the entertainment industry, and we're able to kind of use some of the influence and some of the I guess resources that we've gotten from the entertainment industry to do some stuff and to kind of empower and inspire our community and people in our own backyard. So
awesome.
It's kind of like that Spider-Man thing, where Uncle Ben says, "With great power comes great responsibility."
Yeah.
And it's actually scripture too.
Yeah,
So
totally.
where to whom much is given, much is required. So so to me, we're like, man, what are we going to do with this popularity, or some, the name's growing a little bit. What are we going to do with it? And
that's great. So you had some plan, kind of forethought of what you might do with
no,
no
plan or nothing. It was even just we're talking about the connected thing.
Yeah.
Just with the TV stuff and the video stuff, it just kind of just happened. We were. My little brother was he was at my house one day, and I think we had just stayed up, we're partying or doing something. I don't know what it was, but I remember I was kind of in a slump. I went through a little depression because of my divorce and all kinds of stuff, and I just got up one day and I was like, I got it, and I went and I kicked the couch where my little brother was on. I was like, we're gonna do this little video thing, and it's gonna be called Connected, and you're gonna shoot, and what's up, Jason Page? And I was like, and you're gonna shoot, and you're gonna edit, and he's gonna learn how to do it. And as a matter of fact, Jason was there during the whole beginning of all that stuff.
Jason.
And Jason was there in the beginning of Love Thy Neighbor and all that. So
cool.
There was no plan. We just kind of threw some stuff at the wall and see what what's gonna stick, and we just kind of ran with it. My brother Charlie, he didn't know how to edit and do nothing. He just learned, watching YouTube, and grabbed the laptop and just started learning it.
Wow.
So we didn't have any kind of camera equipment. I remember we're borrowing cameras from Jason. We brought a camera from Cornerstone Church, and my boy Eric Casas had some equipment, and he was doing some of the editing, and and we just kind of went with it, and around the same time, I want to say in 2010 is when we're approached with the idea of the Love Thy Neighbor thing.
Yeah.
And we're working with Jason Page, as a matter of fact, on a documentary that he was working on. And we went down to TJ and we shot some stuff in TJ, and one of the guys that we're interviewing, he had asked us for a basketball. So, and it was around this time, around Christmas time, and so we're like, dude, let us come back, and in a couple of weeks with a bunch of stuff. Let's come back with a bunch of toys.
Awesome.
And he lived in Los Laureles in Tijuana, and there was a basketball court that was down the street. So he wanted to do something good, and in his mind he was like, hey, feel like I've done so much, negative, so much bad in my life. Let me do this one good thing and get, the kids in the neighborhood a basketball.
Wow.
So we kind of just put the word out, and we hit up our friends from Nitty's Tattoo, and we asked them if we can collect toys in front of their shop, in front of the tattoo
Really?
shop. And we had a DJ there, and we just collected a bunch of toys and clothes, and some new stuff, some used stuff, and we just smuggled it across the border. And 9 years later, here we are still doing it. And it's been a blessing. So thanks, Jason. And just trying to do it. But now 9 years later, Love Thy Neighbor's here, and we're still doing it. And I know you say like, oh, you're doing a lot, and you're doing, and it's not me, doing it. We have an awesome team.
That's great.
There's awesome people behind us. Most of the team is really like, I think Araceli and Ricardo, like they're the husband and wife like power team behind all the stuff that we're doing, especially in TJ. Like, I was telling you earlier, I was like, man, if people only seen what we did on Wednesdays, they would like give up and like, I'm done with this, but like they pick up food from here in National City and deliver to a senior living facility here.
That's like all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah,
that
it's
nobody
stuff
knows
that
about.
it's stuff that we don't really have like a lot of photos or video. We don't do live. We don't do any. We just do it, and so they're out there. So much, even like on Mondays. On Mondays we have a class that, we talk about, but we don't really put it out there as much. But I think there's a group of like 8 or 9 kids, junior high school kids and high school kids that come, and we do a game programming class every Monday, and we have a teacher that comes in and teaches kids how to do programming, coding to create video games.
Wow.
And so, and they're in charge of that too. And every Monday they're making sure the kids are there, to be a part of this class. And so, it's can't do nothing without a team, and so I just,
That's true.
I'm honored and I'm blessed, to have a strong, smart team, around us.
Not everyone can do that though. Like not everyone could move a crowd like that though. Where do you think that comes from? Where do you think that?
I don't know if it's necessarily even moving a crowd. I think, I think, God puts us in positions to inspire and empower.
That's good.
And that's part of our, our mission statement is, to inspire and empower. And I think, when you're in a position to inspire and empower, those that you inspire and empower are going to inspire and empower others. And I think that's the end goal for all of it, because, even talking, if Araceli and Ricardo were sitting here, they would tell you like, we were inspired and empowered by the stuff that you were doing for us or for whoever else, that now they're inspiring and empowering. Like now they have a whole team, like they have a bunch of people in TJ that like, that are like waiting for them on Wednesdays, and all right, come on, what are we going to do next? And they have people here in San Ysidro, and they have people that they're inspiring, and same thing, like the whole team, we just kind of want to put it out there to where it's not about one person, and even if I was the vessel, if God used me to plant the seed of Love Thy Neighbor, like it's not about me, it's not Love Thy Ruben, it's we want to do it all,
Right.
If maybe I'm just the face of it or the voice of it, then amen. But it's if you were to like peek behind the curtain and see what's going on, you're gonna be like, dude, all these people are helping out, doing all this other stuff, like Andy's got his hustle that he helps us with, and he's connecting the dots, and and my boy Tim, he's doing the website and the photography and creating flyers and our board and everybody, but it's I think most of the time people are like, oh, I want to meet with Ruben because they figure I'm the face or I'm whatever, but it's about the people behind us, because if it wasn't for them, honestly, we wouldn't even have the programs that we have. We wouldn't be able to say that we're doing the numbers that we do, that You
Yeah.
know, there's about 400 to 500 pounds of food that are delivered every Wednesday.
Wow.
And you know, I can't do that all on my own. I can't do all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's stuff that you know that they do that you know I can't
and
do.
You were saying that you know, there's a lot of stuff that you guys do behind the scenes in delivering the food and stuff like that. And if you didn't get that food to these people, some of them are really depending on you.
Yeah, you know, there's people that have told us, even at the senior living facility, they were telling like Ricardo and Adesanya not too long ago too, and they've told me like, man, if you guys don't deliver food here on Wednesday, then we might not have food for the rest of the week or until our next pay period or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And you know, it just it hurts. You know, it sucks because you know, you want to love on our elders and you want to like, you know, those are the people that are taking care of us. You know, and it's like, well, man, that's the financial position that they're in, and like, you know, you want to do more, and sometimes like, you know, you're stuck with not being able to do more, you know, and I think it's something that people that love people, like they always have that in them, like you know, if you ever watch the movie Schindler's List, you know, and we're at the end of the movie, they're like, that's it, no more, and he's like, he sold his car, and he's like, this ring could have been, you know, 2 more people, and all these, like, he had that compassion for people and love for people, and he wanted to help and save people.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, you know, you feel like that, like, man, I could have done more, man, you know, what if we would have.
You always feel like you're not doing enough, huh?
Yeah, and you know, we back in the day, we did a lot of like homeless outreach stuff, and we kind of backed off from some of it because we didn't want to overlap with some of the stuff that other people are already doing. We don't want to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Rather support those that are already doing that, you know. And
That
so
is
let's support that. But you know, I felt like at some point maybe like we were enabling, you know, some of the folks, and we wanted to kind of step back and be a part of a bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know, so like, hey, what can we do to help the bigger picture and be more of a solution instead of enable, you know, someone or you know, just not, you know, I mean, it's different when you give someone here's a bag of food, here's a sandwich or whatever, than, hey, let me get you a job.
Yeah.
You know, that's different. It's taking it to another. Let me teach you some life skills. Let me take you to get a tattoo removal or a cover up or whatever. That's big picture. You know, so yeah, we'll see. You know, we'll see what happens with Love Thy Neighbor. Maybe we can you know, have a facility where we can teach some life skills and do some tattoo removal and work with some of these guys who are getting out of prison and all that stuff. So
that would be great. That would be a really good plan. I actually went. I don't know if you're familiar with David Chigo's high school in National City here. This was way back in '84, I think it was. But back in '84, there was a few of us that went to the school here in National City. It was run by a family of men called the Humphreys. The Humphreys took us kids, and they were what they did was. It was, I call it a private school, but really he was taking gang members and reforming them.
Oh, nice.
And he was, all the stuff that you said that you wanted to do, that's what they were doing. And they were
Where are they now? Let's do this.
I know, right? So they're really familiar with this stuff. But all of us that were really into the school and that graduated from the school, most of us went on to do some incredible things. So one girl is a doctor, another girl she trains, you know, she's a voice instructor to like the movie stars, you know.
Wow.
And so many other people. One guy is a, you know, top-notch boxing trainer and things like that. So people went on to go do some really incredible things.
There's a lot of talent in San Diego, and I've always said too, like. Even just in the South Bay, like there's been so much talent that's come out of the South Bay. You know, you know, you got from Chula Vista down. You know, if you think about it, like you got, you know, of course the guys from POD. You got Rey Mysterio, Frankie J. You know, and even like Mario Lopez. You know, he came. Chula Vista.
He did, didn't he? Yeah. Uh-huh.
And it's like, man, you know, there's some in the water down here. You know, and it's a breeding ground for hustlers. You know, I think it's. Somebody's doing, you know, something. There's you know, MMA fighters, you got coaches, you got all kinds of stuff that comes out of there, producers, DJs. And, you know, I think, you know, when your back's up against the wall and you're like, dude, we got to do something, you know, I think it's changed the game, you know, so, you know, if we can find that school and do another one like that, you know, it'd be awesome, dude, you know. Let's find those people. Who's funding that stuff? Let's get that going, you know.
Yeah. And now, you know, you talked a lot about your upbringing, some of the stuff that you got involved in, and then you talked about knowing POD. Those guys are incredible.
Oh, they're amazing.
We
POD's
do
amazing.
love POD. I've been following POD since I think they first, you know,
Since the 90s.
yeah, since the 90s. And because in the 90s I was like, you know, it was all Christian music. So now that you do the Love Thy Neighbor movement, you have some projects going on here in the future, right?
Yeah,
in the near
yeah.
future. And this happens like every going into December.
Yeah, we do our annual toy drive. This is our 9th one, and so it's, you know, it started off with like we said, one guy in TJ asking us for a basketball, and it's grown into this just massive event.
Wow.
And you know, it's tough. Like, I won't lie, sometimes I'm just like, man, do I got to do it this year? You know, but you know, I think people on both sides of the border are kind of depending on us, and you know, if we didn't do this, we know that there'd be some kids that didn't have a Christmas, you know.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I met with a couple people today that, you know, their organization isn't going to have toys, and they're asking us for toys, and it's just, you know, I try to sit back and I'm like, all right, God, what do you got in store this year, you know?
Yeah.
So this year, yeah, we teamed up with Tribal Clothing. And Bobby and the people over at the Courtyard, they hooked us up with that venue, and we'll be doing a concert there. And
Oh, that's awesome.
so we try to do something to everything we do runs off of community. So we try to do something where the community is supporting what we do. So every year for the past 9 years, the community comes together and delivers toys.
Yeah.
So they bring us toys. So when we say it's a toy drive, we're collecting toys, and then either the next day or the next week, you know, we go down to TJ and we deliver these toys.
Wow.
And we invite, like, you know, community members, like, come down and watch, like, you know, or be a part of it, like, come down and hand out some of these toys, you know, to the kids, because
Yeah.
it's one thing to deliver a toy and enjoy the concert, but when you get to see the smiles on the kids' faces, or get a hug saying, you know, gracias, you know,
Yeah.
it's different, you know, than
Yeah.
just
It's so
handing in a
worth
toy.
it. All that hard
Yeah.
work then becomes worth it.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I think that's the rewarding part of you know, what we do, and so, you know, I invite everybody, come out December 22nd. We'll be down in Tijuana delivering the toys that we collect from the concert and the event. So December 15th is actually the event where we're collecting toys, and it's going to be at the Courtyard over in downtown.
Yeah.
It's 1301 Market, and
At what time?
it's from 3 to 9.
3 to 9.
3 to 9. So we're going to have the band Rude. They're going to be playing. Awesome band, young kids. And I mean, they have a huge following. I think it's cool. It kind of brings like that younger edge to what we're doing, you know. And,
What
they're
Rude?
called
It
Rude.
sounds maybe a little bit
it's
punk rock?
Yeah, I think punk rock, just like
Alternative?
surf punk. Yeah,
Surf punk?
yeah. I don't. It's just some young rock and roll stuff, you know.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I want to go to
yeah,
that.
you got to check these kids out. They've been playing the House of Blues a lot lately too. So Bobby from Tribal, one of the kids is his son, and so we're
wow.
getting them to play again. They played last year as well. We have a band called Boulevard de Descarga that's going to be playing, and the lead singer for Santana, Andy Vargas, he's going to come down. He's going to perform.
I got to meet Andy
And,
at one of the events that you
Yeah,
had.
yeah. And so, and he's awesome. He's an awesome individual himself.
He was really humble. Like,
Oh, man.
I'm in shock. Like,
Yeah,
at how, you know, the crowd that you're with, and people are like so down to earth and like, yeah, I'm just hanging out.
Yeah, no, it's a trip. I think a lot of people were tripping out to see Sonny from POD at the Rey Mysterio autograph signing, because he was there, and you know, we had some problems with some of the lights, and he was over there fixing the generator, and he was picking up trash, and people were coming up like, "Hey, aren't you Sonny from POD?" And they're like freaking out, you know. And they're like, "Hey, can we take a picture?" Like, you know, they want to shake his hand. He had trash in his hand. He's like, "What's up?" You know, and he was there to serve, you know, and that's the kind of people that you know we surround ourselves with. Like, you know, he's a servant leader. You know,
Yeah,
he's
that's good.
he's the guy that'll park way in the back and walk up to the front. He's the guy who's, you know, he'll stay there to the end and pick up all the trash, and you know, he's that guy. And so, you know, I think all the people that we work with are super humble. You know, Rey Mysterio, he's you know, worldwide icon, and he's, you know, one of the humblest guys, you know, we know.
Yeah, that's great.
So it's awesome to have these guys support what we do, and be a part of what we do, and have them, you know, be a part of Love Thy Neighbor. To me, it's you know, it's humbling, and but it's, you know, it's beautiful, you know, to know that, you know, they recognize what we're doing, and you know, and support. You know, it's a big deal.
You can see that all over you. You know, when you're talking and things, and you're talking about, you know, the people that you're hanging around with. Your body language is showing that. Your eyes, you know, are showing that you know, you're really appreciative of that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, honestly, like, you know, it's the entertainment industry is very there's always a twist to it, you know, and it could really jack you up, you know, to where, you know, you think it's all about you, and it's not, you know. So you know, I can't put it to where it's all about me, you know, because it's not like if I didn't have the people behind me that believed in me, and we're doing the stuff that we're doing, then there is no connected with Ruben Torres. If I didn't have like someone like Tim Hernandez, you know, filming my stuff or putting my podcast on, all that stuff, then there is no connected with Ruben. There is no, you know, if I didn't have people like, you know, like Ricardo and Adesali, and you know, Miguel and Andy and all these people that are, then there is no Love Thy Neighbor. You know, then it's like, well, I might as well just go and do whatever, you know, everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's good.
and so, you know, I'm just honored just to be in a position where I'm able to be used by God, you know. But other than that, like, it's about the team, you know. So I'm honored to be a mouthpiece, you know.
That's great. So, like, you know, you shared a lot about, you know, the team and the people that are working with you, and, you know, all that good stuff. Where do you guys see yourself in, like, say, 5 years from now?
I think end goal, you know, I'd love to, of course, have our own building, you know. We're hoping in like 5 weeks from now, you know.
Right.
But you know, ultimately, to have our own building, to be in a place where we have these resources. You know, there's no shelters south of the 54. Like, there's nothing like, I mean, except for the South Bay Pioneers, but they're more, you know, treatment, like AA.
Yeah.
But there's no homeless shelters. There's nothing really, you know, to take anybody to south of the 54. You know, I'd really like to get more involved in the big picture of healing. We're working a lot closer with Community Through Hope, you know, Rosie Vasquez over there, and really learning a lot from, you know, what she does and what they do, and the hot team, the Chula Vista PD, and kind of learning what they do. And I'd really like to, like, get closer with them and kind of learn, you know, who they are and what they do, and kind of being able to assist in some of that and filling in some of the gaps, you know, that need to be, you know, because I'd love to have a men's home to where we're helping guys that are getting out of prison and kind of, you know, treating them with dignity, you know, and you know, and kind of build them back up into who they're supposed to be.
You know, I really appreciate that. I really do. My father was an ex-convict, so I see people that have a heart for this kind of, the people that are coming out of prison. That they've had some hard stuff. They need to put that behind them, and there's sometimes people trap you in, and you can't move past all of that. And we need people.
Well, the cycle of being, a felon or whatever it may be, like the cycle, the way it's designed, it's set up to fail. Yeah. So when you get out of prison and they expect you to get a job right away, but then they expect you to pay for the rent at the place that you're at, then they expect you to be at all these meetings, and then you still gotta call in to do your urine tests, and then you got to do all these things, and it's like, well, wait a minute, how can I do that and still get a job? And then you want me to go get a job, but then the parole officer is going to show up at any moment, and then I might lose my job because you're showing up at my, and so it just set up to fail. And so if there was some kind of change, or there was some kind of improvement or something, where you can just not have to go in that direction, more support,
More support,
but I've had friends and family that have been in prison, and shame on me, you get so caught up with doing what you do and being who you are that sometimes, like, you forget to reach out, or you forget to write, or you forget to put money on their books, or you just you're so full of yourself, and you're so caught up in yourself that you're just like, they'll be all right in there, and then years go by, and then all of a sudden they're out of prison, and you didn't send them a letter, or you didn't put any money on their, and you're like, what? Like, oh my God, And then now I find myself like that eats away at me all the time, But I have friends that are I have a friend right now who's in prison. He's going to be getting out in January, and but I was able to go and see him and be more part of what he was doing. He's 22 years in.
Oh my God.
And but I was able to be more a part of that. But then I just realized, like, man, how many of my friends did I neglect while they were inside? And it's just it sucks when you're full of yourself and the party is more important, or your popularity, or your business, or whatever is more important, and you forget about the important stuff. And I think anybody who's trying to make a difference, in the community, or make an impact, or be successful at anything, anybody's going to run into those walls. So definitely keep people in leadership in prayer, because
I agree.
It's definitely not easy. So but I'm thankful for forgiveness, and I'm glad that they that they forgive, and that they don't take it in any direction. They see what we're doing now, and sometimes there's no fixing what's already broken, but God repairs. He makes a way. So
sometimes God just blows our mind. Like he takes situations that are just impossible, and then he just turns it around, and it just he just loves to confound the wise, doesn't he? Because it's just, some things are just supernatural.
I mean, just the fact that we've made it, that I've made it this far, and people still help out and still be a part of what we do. I mean, to me, that's a miracle in itself.
It is.
And just to be kind of in the position that we're able to be in. It's been a blessing. Now we're just praying for the funding to keep going, to come in, so we can take it to another level. But I don't. I pray for wisdom. It's something that I'm always like, all right, God, like I'm not the smartest, so bless me with some smart people around me. Like, put some smart people around me, because I believe that if you're the smartest one in the room, then you're in the wrong room. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. Like, I learned so much from the people that God has placed around me. I think strength comes. Iron sharpens iron. Strength comes from those that God puts around you as well. And I mean, I sit back, and my wife's cousin, Bo, he sits on our board. for a year, the whole year of 2014, I spent it up in Modesto, and that's where, like, you know, God restored my marriage and brought me back with my wife, and you know, I sat with Bo as a mentor, you know, and you know, like a spiritual mentor, because, you know, it's one thing to have a business mentor and like someone's like pointing you in the right direction and do it, but I was so off the deep end in 2013, and I was so about myself, and I thought, you know, I was it, you know. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, freaking partying like this and doing, and I went off the deep end, you know, and believing the hype, you know. And so you know, I disconnected from everybody, and I even went on Facebook and unfriended 1,500 people that I was like, nah, I don't even this party, you know, and I just you know, I needed that detox, you know, and so for a year, and sometimes, you know, honestly, you know, if we're in that place, sometimes I feel like maybe I shouldn't have left Modesto, you know, but just because I felt I was growing so much spiritually, but you know, you kind of got to take the training wheels off and go, you know. So you know, there's days where I'm just like going through it, and you know, mornings, you know, like I drop off the kids at school, and then I get on the phone with Bo, and I'm just driving to wherever I'm going, and you know, we share what you know, we're going through, or you know, dude, let's just pray. You know, sometimes he just tells me, dude, just shut up, all right, let's just pray. You know, all right, cool. And then I'm just driving, and he's just praying, and you know, and it definitely, like, you know, it helps. So I learned from all these people that you know, that surround me, and they keep me in check too. You know, so
that's good.
You know, if you know, I try to be, you know, an example, you know, but I'm not the best example. So you know, they keep me in check too. You know, and you know, I try not to, you know, do too much stupid stuff, but you know, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at with it. But,
yeah, that's great, man. That is so good. We all need some kind of a bow, don't we?
yeah, right. Bo, if you're watching, there it is.
I have a friend that I keep in, because I wanted to stay accountable, right? I wanted to make sure that, you know, I stay in the safe zone. You know, because I went through a divorce too. But you know, you it's a good when you stay in that accountable zone with somebody who, you know, you could just, you know, you can call and you can tell them, like, I'm having a really, really, really bad day. Or, you know, you can just be yourself with this person. They're not going to judge you either way, right? So I made sure I knew, you know, I was a church leader for many years, so I knew I needed to have that in place. And thank God for people like that will come alongside of you when you're not in a good place.
Yeah, sometimes I feel though, like, and this is just me, but sometimes I don't like the keeping it safe. Like, I don't like the safe stuff. I don't like I like to be right on the edge of like
push boundaries.
Yeah, well, because that's kind of what we always came from. Like, you know, you talked about POD and the Christian music, whatever, and it was never really meant to be that, you know. But it was always more like they were like too good for the bad guys and too bad for the good guys, you know. And so it was never really meant to be that, you know. So to me, it's like there's got to be a realness factor, and when you're too, I think when you're too, I don't know, religious, or you know what I'm saying, like,
yeah, totally.
You know, it's funny. I was watching this bit from Michael Jr., the comedian, where he's like, he's talking about being oversaved, you know, and where, you know, people, you're talking, all of a sudden it's hallelujah, and they start praying, like, really, you're praying right now, like, and we all know somebody that's like that. My sister-in-law Alicia, sorry about that, but you know, we all have those people, and it's like you become so spiritual minded where you're no earthly good, like no one can relate to you, no one can be real with you, nobody wants to. You know what I'm saying? Like, like
nobody's going to really open up to you. Because,
And when you're overly religious like that, like, you're not gonna, there's no, I don't know.
You've lost your connection
Yeah,
with people.
No one can relate. So you can't go into National City and walk Highland and be hallelujah, amen, and people,
Not even
they're going to get
Jesus
scared
did that.
off. Yeah, you're going to get scared off, And but what Jesus did do though is he did change the the way that people looked at things,
Yeah, he
the
did.
perception,
Mm-hmm.
and so there was a guy who led a Bible study up in Modesto. He once led this Bible study, and he shared about how when when Jesus was with the woman at the well, and he was writing on the dirt, and then all the Pharisees and Sadducees, they coming up, and they're gonna stone her, and he's sitting there listening. He's just writing on and he didn't do anything to change the event. He just simply, with words, made them change their mindset of how they looked at the situation. So he without sin cast the first stone, and they all realized, well, we all have sin, okay, and they dropped the stone and walked away. But he didn't, with all the power that Jesus has, and with everything that he could have done.
Wasn't going around yelling at people.
He didn't do anything. He didn't go punch anybody in the face. He didn't, strike them dead. He just, with a few words, made them change their outlook on how they looked at the situation. They changed the perspective, and that was it. And I think sometimes that's just what we need to do, is just change someone's perspective of how you look at things.
And how do we do that? How do we do that?
By being real.
By being real?
By being real and
listening to people?
Yeah, and connecting with people. Because honestly, nobody wants to be preached at, first of all. Nobody wants to be told you're going to hell. People want to be loved. And I was telling you earlier.
You don't know me. You tell me I'm going to hell. You don't know me.
Yeah. And, I was telling you earlier, there was a pastor here in National City that he would always say, people don't care how much you know, they want to know how much you care.
Right.
And so, if you go around and you're just quoting scripture and you're telling them, the New Living Translation of the Bible says this. And I'm like, who cares? Nobody cares. Yeah, I'm not saying that literally. I'm just saying those that don't know the Lord,
they don't know. They don't know what that means.
They don't, that means nothing to them. Who cares? But once you show them that you care, that means more. And then they're going to wonder, well, why are you doing this? Why are you so good? Then you could open it up to where, hey, you know what? Well, I live for the Lord. I love the Lord, and this is what we're supposed to be doing. And like we talked about earlier, it's about showing someone a sermon and not preaching someone a sermon.
Yeah,
totally. I'm not a preacher. But I think what we do, in our team, we're faith in action, and we show you with our actions on who we are and what we do, and love people. And by far, we're not perfect, and we're not going to be, and we're not. I wish we could do everything, scripturally, and say we're ministry this and ministry that, but we're not trying to scare anybody off. We are who we are. We love people, whether it's whether you're from Honduras and you're in TJ, or you're in a prison or wherever, we try to go and kind of love you where you're at, and
yeah, I like that. That's good stuff.
I just just be real, and some people may agree, may not agree, but it's like I've met pastors, or I've been in situations where I've seen people that you respect, that sometimes they just tell you how it is, and they're just raw. And I'm just like, dude, I'd rather hear it that way than sugarcoat, and or a cuss word might pop out. Oh my God, this guy just. But at least you're being real with me, and it's kind of like one of those smack in the back of the head, your dad used to pat, back in the head, and kind of wake up, dude.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where I'm at with it. And we love people, and we want to keep moving forward with the stuff that we do, and. By no means are we perfect, and sometimes things get political, and you're just like, dude, I'm just going to go ahead and step away from this one, and just trying to be real and connect with people. That's all we can do on our end.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. You're doing an awesome job. All the stuff that you're doing, that I see you do on Facebook and one of the events that I went to and things
Yeah,
like
last
that.
year you came by the toy drive last
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
And my good buddy James Marino is always at some of your events.
Yeah, he has the East County Transitional Living.
He does, yeah.
EC TLC.
I've known him
I
for
was like, man,
many,
you gotta
many
change
years.
the name of that place. Dude. Just call it.
They're
something.
from the South Side. They're from all that
Yeah.
down there, and we used to pick them up. We used to pick up. James was like crazy, and we were, I was a Christian. And we were witnessing to them, and it was Claudia who came to church first.
Claudia went to school with us in Montgomery. Yeah.
And she was just this, she was in the Madonna scene with the big ponytail. Would come to church and wearing hardly anything. She would wear her hot pants with the cut off shirt, and we'd be like, "Girl," and then James would be waiting in the parking lot, and trying to get her out of church, and he was mad and stuff, and oh my gosh, so many situations. But they were our disciples. So James,
what a trip, small world.
Yeah,
small world.
They're like family to me.
Yeah,
But,
James is awesome. He's doing a lot of good stuff out in the East County.
Yeah,
And,
he doesn't say what he does. He just does it like you said.
Yeah. And I think there needs to be more people like that. I think it's just kind of shut up and show me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like
totally.
you want to talk about it, you want to say all the stuff you're doing, and that's cute, but just do it. Just shut up and show me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had people approach us, about, want to back you up financially, or we want to do it. It's one of those, well, shut up and show me, like, cool, just cut a check then, dude, let's do this, but, we're not, not to change the subject or whatever, but I think it's important for people to know that through Love Thy Neighbor, what we do, we're privately, or communally, the community funds what we do. We don't have a rich uncle, we don't have a church that's like cutting us checks. We don't have, the government's not giving us checks. Like we don't have grants that we're getting cut, or, contracts with the city yet, or doing anything like that. So everything that we do is by the community, for the community, to the community, through the community. So,
it comes from pure passion from the people.
Yeah. So every oh, Ruben, I'm gonna give $10 towards what you do, or hey, every month I'm gonna do $25, or whatever it's gonna be. Like that stuff helps. It helps huge to.
And that's
what
a $25 that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
And they still give it.
In this day and age, it's like all of it helps. And so like no one's getting rich off of this thing. And I think the biggest misconception is that. Because you have a nonprofit, you don't pay yourself, or you don't, and it's like, well, dude, I'm still part of the entertainment industry. I still go out and, I'm stage manager for a lot of these music festivals that come up, and so I still got to travel, and I still got to do my thing too, and to try to pay some bills, and sometimes it's tight where it's like, dude, I don't know how I'm going to keep my cell phone on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keeping it real. Like, dude, we don't have grants. We don't have a team of grant writers. We don't have all that stuff. And so, when we're asking for money, it's not because, not because I'm driving a BMW or a Benz or whatever, or, we live in a mansion, or we're just like, hey, dude, can you guys help keep some cell phone bills on and keep our website up, or whatever it might be,
Right.
So, so it's, we try to take care of the people around us.
That's good.
We we had some interns, and they're helping us pack and move, and it's like, dude, you're out here busting your butts. At least let us buy you lunch, or put gas in your car. Like people don't even like. If, like I was saying, if you've seen on a Wednesday what happens just on one Wednesday, and you went with Ricardo and Araceli to TJ to pick up the food and drop it off with the senior citizens and do all this stuff and hit all these places, it's like, dude, just the wear and tear that goes into their car, just the gas that goes into what they do.
Right.
And so, I'd love it if we can feed them, if we can fill their tank every time we do that, if we can rent them a car to do anything, but like they're, and they're doing it just for the love of people, and that's just what happens. But so So financially, when we hit the little donation thing that you guys see pop up,
Yeah.
all of that definitely helps for
Yeah.
us. Every nickel and dime that comes in is helpful for who we are and what we do. Like, like we said, nobody's out buying 80-inch TVs or doing like we're, what I'm saying? Like we're
Yeah.
just, everyone here is trying to survive, put gas in their tank,
Yeah.
Buy each other lunch or just to keep the team motivated and the stuff going and
Yeah.
keep cell phones on and all that stuff. Like no one's getting rich off any of the stuff that we do, and we like to get to the point where we can be sufficient, just to survive, and keep doing what we're doing.
And that's okay. You need
Yeah.
that. You need to get to the place where
Yeah.
you can, survive and more and
Yeah.
do more, because
Yeah.
if you have more, you can do more.
That's what we say. Everything we've done with Love Thy Neighbor, we've done so much for so long with so little.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine if we had something.
Yeah.
If this is our 9th year,
Mm-hmm.
and we've had everything from acting lessons to like the gaming stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We've had 2 events for senior citizens where it's like a day of beauty where
Mm-hmm.
we do haircuts and makeup and
wow.
and we feed them.
Mm-hmm.
Every year we feed 50 families in San Ysidro. It's about 250 people,
Yeah.
and we deliver toys in San Ysidro for the elementary schools down there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not stuff that we do. What's up, Chelly? And it's not stuff that we do without people helping us. Like El Pollo
Yeah.
Grill steps up every year, and they're like, "Dude, we're gonna help you guys feed 250 people." And
That's
so we go and
awesome.
we serve these people, and that's the kind of stuff that I'm saying. It's like, well, we have, like I drive around all day long doing Love Thy Neighbor stuff. Araceli and Ricardo, they drive around all day long doing the. It's like, how awesome would it be if we're just like,
Yeah.
dude, here, just fill your tank every time you go.
Yeah.
Here, dude, buy a Happy Meal for whatever, like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And I think some of the biggest sacrifices for us doing this
Mm-hmm.
is our families. Sometimes, like I'm sure my son, he takes the biggest brunt of it because he's always with me and sleeping in the car and whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm always having him like, okay, set up and tear down and all this stuff. And he's, when it comes to my family, he's probably like, all right, let's go, Dad. But how awesome would it be if we're able to just take care of our families and do what we love and help the community and make a bigger impact.
Yeah.
So we want to keep doing what we're doing. So if when you guys see the little donation buttons, trust me, every little bit helps.
Yeah.
$5 to $100 or whatever.
Yeah.
I did this thing for my birthday, and I was like, hey, for my birthday I'm gonna collect $500. I just kind of put it out there, and one guy, Tony Jacobo, he's the dad of the guys from Tribal Seeds.
Yeah.
He donated a full $500.
Wow.
And you're just like, whoa, this is incredible. And last year, Tribal Seeds donated $2,000 towards the toy drive, and so like that stuff is huge, because every time, like when you came out and you see we have the lights and we got the stage,
Yeah.
we got the sound system, like we can't like come in, half stepping with the sound and the performers that we have are world-class performers.
Right.
We have the singer for Santana that comes in and does this. What up? Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. And so it's like we can't do just like a small little PA with the lead singer for Santana. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah, that's true.
we spend, just $2,000 just on the sound.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we going to do,
Yeah.
and we do that, so like the money that comes in is pretty much just, here you go, take care of that, and then if we can help,
It comes in,
the
it
team.
goes right back out.
Yeah, and if we can help the team get some gas and,
Yeah.
pay a cell phone bill or whatever we can do, it's like,
Yeah.
let's do it. Yeah, it comes in, comes back out. But we need it to maintain. So I'm not trying to make it like one of those telethons where we're asking everybody to donate, but donate. We have the toy drive coming up. People are depending on us. We have Es por los Niños down in Tijuana. They help kids and families living with HIV and AIDS,
Wow.
and they're usually the first ones that come and pick the toys. my buddy Tim, he works closely with the Milenares Foundation, and you know they're inside of Radius Children's Hospital. So they're some of the first ones that come and get toys as well. And then this year we have just a bunch of different organizations
That's incredible.
that are expecting toys from us. So we're like, well, if we don't get toys and they don't get toys, and we still got to do this big thing in TJ where we're handing toys, and then it's been tough. But we've had years where we have toys that are lasting us up until we're like, dude, what are we gonna do? Up to this year we're able to do Dia de los Niños down in TJ, and Araceli and Ricardo, they put this huge event together at one of the schools down in Tijuana. We still had toys left over from Christmas.
Wow.
So we did, this other thing for Dia de los Niños in April, and so we're able to give out bikes and backpacks and all kinds of cool stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, and then, we got people that come down. My boy Paco that grew up with us and his wife Star, and they donate. They work with K-Swiss and Palladium Shoes, and they donate all these free shoes every year. So they come down every year to help out and or deliver donations. Sometimes they won't even come to the event. They'll just drive from LA with a van full of stuff, drop it off, and go back up on their own dime, and they'll rent a truck, and they'll and so that's why we started calling it a movement, was because the second year that we ended up doing it, we're getting packages from Las Vegas, from Texas, from Arizona, and we're just like, dude, this has become like a movement. It's not just like a local little San Diego thing.
It's a movement, trust me.
So now we have Bo doing Love Thy Neighbor up in Modesto.
Wow.
And recently I had a conversation with a friend of mine out in Las Vegas, Eddie Amaya, and he's talking about wanting to build a branch out there, and kind of help spread the Love Thy Neighbor movement out into those parts, and so that's awesome. If we can do all those things, and we have Love Thy Neighbor San Diego, Tijuana, Modesto, Vegas, like
that's
how
crazy.
cool is that?
That is real cool. Yeah,
So,
that's really good though.
So yeah, those are the kind of stuff that we're looking to do. Am I forgetting anything, Araceli and Ricardo, if you guys are there? But
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
but I know we have I think two places we're going to be delivering toys in TJ on the 22nd, and that's where we really want to encourage people to come be a part of that. When we do the Milenares stuff at Radius Children, we don't really get to. It's always like flu season around that time, so we don't really get to go and hand out toys to the kids with cancer there.
Oh, I see.
We just kind of deliver, like, here's the toys, you guys just send us pictures,
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, but if we're able to do that and something comes up like that, we'll definitely invite, some of the people that support. But the big thing I think is coming down to TJ with us. That's the big deal.
What is to be expected when people that don't generally go to TJ? What is the general thing? You jump in the car with someone, or you follow people in there? Or like
it's been a little bit of everything. We've had people. Wrestling with the wrestling event. Okay, we'll talk about that right now too. But yeah, we've had people come in and hey, let me jump in with you or whatever, and we just caravan down there.
Okay.
We have to sneak toys to Mexico, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
So we, people are like smuggling stuff into the U.S. We're trying to smuggle toys into into Mexico. So because if not, you get charged these crazy fines for taxation or whatever.
Okay.
But so we end up asking people to sneak toys with us during the week. So like after the toy drive, it's like, here, fill up your car full of toys, take it to this house, and we'll store them at this place.
Okay.
So but yeah, it's like, hey, jumping in with us. We're going to be in Zona Norte this year, so it'll be like right across the border.
Okay.
So you're able to, from there you could just leave and come, go get some tacos and head back. We're so close to the border.
There's some good tacos down there too.
Oh yeah. And so it's going to be what I was saying, where you get to come. It's going to be like a twofer, because where we're having it is it's Movimiento Juventud. They're the I guess the main shelter that brings in the immigrants and refugees, like
Oh, yeah.
all the caravans that you see that have been coming.
Yeah.
So they kind of go there first, and then they kind of get dispersed. So we're going to be doing it in front of that facility.
Okay.
And so people get to see firsthand, like, man, this is how these people live. And like literally you walk in through the door and it's like tents. It's like a tent city.
Yeah.
And so they're on the hard concrete floor in tents. And they do have like two rooms that they maybe have, I think 8 bunk beds or something like that for, you know, women and children.
Yeah.
But you really get to see firsthand, you know, how they're living. And they have this tiny small kitchen, and you can see what's on their shelves and what they eat, and everything is just off of donations. So it's not, you know, they're not living large, you know, but they help a lot of people. And I think you get to not just help the kids, but you get to see what's going on with all this stuff that you're seeing, you know, on the news with the refugees, and you kind of get to see it firsthand, you know. So we're going to be there. There's going to be free haircuts, you know. I think we're doing like the medical, like a little health fair. Going to give out toys, have a DJ. I think Jose Yenke wants to do, he's going to send over one of the students that he works with, a little rap artist, and kind of, you know,
That's cool.
so we'll be able to do some music and all that stuff. And Mujeres por Mujeres, they're a cancer support group for women, you know, down in Mexico, and they're going to be out there. They're going to be supporting us, and they're putting on the health fair for us.
You guys reach out a lot. That's a big reach that you guys have going on there.
I think it's more on like we said, like we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. So let's support those that are already you know, doing it. So it's like, well, you know, I'm not going to try to do a cancer you know, awareness thing when we have friends that are already doing that. Let's support what they're doing and bring awareness to what they're doing, and vice versa. You know, and they tell people about us, and that's the beauty about it. You know, it's we're like serial collaborators. Like, dude, let's do this together.
Good. That's really good.
And that's been, you know, that's been a huge deal. And even like collaborating with a local wrestling organization called Ground Zero. They're doing an event December 8th, and they're going to collect toys for us. So it's going to be down in Imperial Beach. So anybody that wants to come see a cool like wrestling show live, you know, and they're a whole lot of fun. Trust me, like you need to go to a wrestling show.
I think the last one I went to was a wrestling thing at your event. It was fun.
Oh yeah, at the Rey Mysterio thing.
Yes.
Well, this one will be inside. You get to feel the electricity of the fans. It's a different experience, you know, because the wrestlers are interacting with the fans, and the fans, you know, it's a different like electricity when you're in there. It's awesome.
That's cool.
But so we got this organization. They're anybody that brings a toy, you get half off the admission price, and they're stepping up to support us this year. And you know, shout out to B-Boy. So it's going to be you know they're collecting toys for us, and all these people are going to be doing. You know, I know the National Latina Businesswomen Association.
Wow.
They're going to have like a little event. They're going to collect toys for us. They did it for us last year as well. So Stacks Up Storage out in Chula Vista. They're going to be collecting toys for us as well. And they've been like a huge supporter of what we do, and so like, you know, they're always, you know, kind of helping us out with. You know, we have our storage there, but they're always looking out for everything that we're doing too. And
that's incredible. That is so incredible.
Yeah, it's like, you know, the resources, and when you're genuine about stuff, I think people see that. You know,
I think that's the key right there, Ruben. As long as you're genuine about what you do, as long as you got the heart for it, then it catches fire, and it starts the movement, like what you're doing, the Love Thy Neighbor movement. You know. I think everything that you're doing is incredible, and if you're out there watching and you're a small business, or you know, somebody that you know you can donate a good chunk of money,
boom,
these guys could really benefit from that, and we all benefit from that, because just the amount of stuff that these guys are doing, it benefits the whole of San Diego pretty much. So if you're out there listening and you know you're able to do that, Or if you're just, somebody, you're in high school or, in college and you're just trying to get by, hey, a little bit of, something here and there helps. It goes a long ways.
But even one thing I always say about supporting, and it doesn't even have to be financial support.
Yeah.
I always tell people, dude, just because, we have the little donation button there and you're like, dude, I already gave money this month or this year, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Then, you know what? Hit the share button.
Yeah.
How about that? Like, just
Yeah.
hit the share button and let people know what we're doing.
Mm.
And that means a lot too. Like when somebody's sharing your content,
Yeah.
to me, that's a big deal. And it's saying like,
Yeah.
hey, we love what you're doing. We may not have finances to give you right
Yeah.
now, but we love what you're doing. We want to support in one way or the other.
Yeah.
And I love seeing when it pops up like so and so shared your
Yeah.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
It is
I mean,
a
to
big
me,
deal.
that's a big deal. So
I agree.
so
Totally. Yes.
even if you don't have a couple bucks or $1 or whatever you
Yeah.
want to pitch in, hit the share button. That
Yes.
means a lot too, because the more that people know about us and your network, I think everybody's like a conversation away from another like
Yeah.
successful venture.
Yeah.
So if someone in your network might say, "Oh, I didn't know that they were doing that," or "I can help them with this," or whatever it might be, and they just connect the dots. That's what's important, and I think having the attention of the people in our community and in our city, and them
Yeah.
knowing what we're
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of organizations that do a lot of good stuff.
Mm.
Now we're kind of going more towards the education of arts
Wow.
and what we're doing. So it's not just we work with senior citizens, we work with inmates. Now we're kind of moving towards like, hey, now we want to get into the schools. We had a creative writing program that we did earlier in the year, where we had kids write essays about what they would do to help improve their community, how they would help senior citizens in their community, and how they would fix the homelessness problem in their
Yeah.
community. And we had some great stuff that came in, and it's all creative writing. And so these kids are
Wow.
coming up with ideas on how to do all this stuff.
Wow.
And then we had Rey Mysterio come in and
Yeah.
he helped present to some of the winners. So we gave away in San Ysidro, we gave away 36 bicycles, helmets, and locks to the winners.
Awesome. Totally
And we went to
awesome.
Barrio Logan and we did the same thing. And we gave away movie tickets to some of the winners. And it's not really about the prize. It's more about the seed that you're planting in the heart and in the mind of change. And so, in some of these schools, of course, you can't go in there and we're not really big on the whole like the preaching thing, but even if that's just a start, like, hey, we're just
Yeah.
here to show you that there's hope in your community.
Yeah.
Dude, I never had that when we were growing up. We didn't have a celebrity come to our school to tell us like, hey, there's hope.
Yeah.
I'm from your community and I made it. There's hope that that you can come out of this and
Yeah.
stay away from drugs and don't do, we didn't have that. Nobody came to our school to tell us that.
Yeah.
But if we can do that and we can bring people of influence into the schools,
Right.
like that's something that we want to do more.
Yeah.
So we've been able to do that. We brought Andy Vargas we went to Chula Vista High. We went to
That's cool.
I think it's La Mirada and San Isidro, and so we've been able to take some of these people of influence and bring them into our own backyard, into the schools, in our own stomping grounds.
That's
to
great.
to help inspire and motivate some of these kids. So
Yeah.
when you go in there and you hear like, wow, this guy sings for one of the world's top bands,
Right.
and
I
and
know.
he's just like me, or
Yeah.
whatever. And so we want to be able to again inspire and empower, and I think it does that, hearing their stories or letting them know that you could do it, and also it means a lot to those individuals that are giving back. Like
Yeah.
it meant a lot for Frankie J to come back, and Rey Mysterio to come back to like this is my backyard and I'm giving back,
Yes.
and it means a lot to them too. So
Yeah. I can see that.
it's a big deal. So
see
so we're able to do those kind of things, and again, like when you give, just know we're putting everything right back into our community. It's
Yeah.
again, no one's getting rich off of this thing. We're just
It's good to know.
and so
It's good to know, but you guys, you put the blood, sweat, and tears in there, and you know it's okay to have, you know, that's something that you live on.
Yeah.
You gotta live on something, right?
Yeah.
So in closing, Ruben,
No, we're not closing. We're going on. It's a marathon. We're going.
we talked a lot before we went on camera, you guys. It was
I was telling her I showed up early too. So right, tell her because she's always on me because I'm showing up late everywhere. I was here early.
It was good. All of the stuff that you said, all of the stuff you said before we went on camera, just such a wealth of information. You add value to your environment wherever you go, Ruben. And I'm not just saying that because I've been following you around for some time now. After my buddy my coworker Lyle told me, you need to go follow this guy.
Thank you, Lyle.
So, you know, and there is a movement. There is a movement, and I watched that happen. I watched people follow. I watched my friend James Marino, and you know where was he going? Who was he associating with, and things, you know. And we need more of that. We need more of that connectivity, and you know that name that was your little brother that came up with that name for your show, your podcast, right? Connected with Ruben Torres.
Well, I came up with it.
But
I woke him up
but
and
I like
let's do
that.
this. Yeah.
You know, you are about, you know, the movement and being connected like that. You know, I just think that this is all just an incredible thing. And you know, in closing though, what do you want to leave? What value, or what would you say to end with? What would you want to say to your people that are listening?
That's a good question. You know, I think I think with just the climate of all the, you know, politics and everything that's questionable and everything that you see that divides you from other people right now.
Right.
I think it's imperative that people see the real you and that you love other people for them being the real them.
Yep.
Love covers a multitude of sin, and if you just love people through it, nobody's going to be perfect. And if you drop your expectations of expecting someone to be perfect, and I by far am nowhere near perfection. I just, you know, I strive to be better every day, but I think, you know, just stop with the madness and stop with all the stupidity and just love people, man. You know,
Yeah.
You know, I just, you know, I'd love to just, you know, walk away from all that and people just say, dude, that dude was real. You know, and I just, I think that's something that just irks me that, you know, I see whether it's in, you know, some pastors or whatever, that it's just, man, like what happened to you? Like it's not, there's no realness about you anymore.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, I just want to have people, you know, see the Jesus in me, you know, and say, you know, when they know that there's something different about me, that they know it's that, you know, even if it's just a little bit, you know, I'm a work in progress, and you know, I'm a scumbag that's been forgiven, you know, so you know, I'm working on it, and you know, pray for your leaders. You know, pray for the people that are making decisions in the White House or in the city council, whether it's local or national. You know, pray for those people. Yeah. And you know, especially the people that are in leadership positions. Yeah. Just know that you're being put under a microscope. You know, and when you're being put under a microscope, you really really need to watch your actions and your words and your behaviors, and sometimes it's the things that you don't say. Yeah. So sometimes your silence is louder than the things that you do say. So
So true.
You know, again, you know, stepping away from politics, but if there's something that's that, you know, morally that you see that you should speak up for, then then speak up for it. You know, right now I've been doing a lot more engagement with law enforcement, and I'm part of the national or the regional leadership institute with the district attorney's office.
Yeah.
And so I've been honored to be asked, to come speak to law enforcement officials, and at some point I'm just like, well, who cares what I have to say, because I'm not educated like them, or I'm not, whatever it might be, but I've been honored just to be able to capture their ears and be able to, kind of share from my perspective and what goes on in our communities with law enforcement and vice versa. But
that's good.
I think it's just kind of, being real about it. And again, like I was saying, like, it's not just about me, but it's like, dude, it's people in our neighborhood that have more to say that maybe I didn't even think about saying that, there's guys here in National City, Eddie and George, they run the Restoring Citizens, and it's like a transitional living, guys that just got out of prison, and like they have stories that I don't have, and they're making impacts that I can't. But for me to be able to bring guys like them in to speak to law enforcement, where, hey, I'm willing to share my time on stage to let some guys like this come up and share their hearts. So,
that's awesome.
I think, being silent is one of those things that is just as bad as saying the negative, And we've spoke about it, and even just to law enforcement, like, hey, when you guys don't speak up against the bad cops, that's when it almost feels like you're supporting their actions, and that's with any group, whether it's, the bad Christians or the bad Muslims or the bad motorcycle clubs or whatever, all these different, but, just speak up, and for the stuff that's moral, that it's morally wrong or whatever, then speak up. I think there's too much fight right now with all the political stuff, so I won't even get into that, but
totally,
just speak up for the stuff you love and promote positivity. I think amongst everything, I keep telling people, promote what you love instead of what you hate, so, instead of saying, oh, I hate so-and-so, or I hate the way this business does their thing, whatever. Promote the good stuff, hey, I love this person. You don't have to say I hate that person, but I love this, or I love this business, instead of, bashing. Try to find the positive in something else and promote the positive. And because if not, then you're just stirring the pot of hate, or the pot of anger, and that's kind of, it's, you can look at it from any angle, but it's just, sometimes you got to speak up, and sometimes you got to know when to shut up,
Good stuff.
You got to bite your lip, but definitely, keep us in prayer, and the whole team. Our board, is small. We don't have a big, huge board, but keep our board members, in prayer as well. They're the decision makers in what we do, and they're the wheels that keep us spinning. I depend on them a lot. Like I said, I got some wise people, some people that are smarter than me and wiser than me, and older than me and younger than me, or whatever. And I just try to be in the middle and learn from them. So keep us in prayer. Definitely love the neighbor and our board and everyone involved, the team, and we need it. So.
I just want to say something before we end. For all of you that are out there watching and you work with Ruben, I just want to give you a big thank you. I just want you to know I see you. I see what you guys are doing. I'm watching. Other people are watching you, and I want to say thank you. Okay, with that said, we're going to peace out. Peace.
Peace. Love you guys. Thank you.